Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. I'm here with another laptop review, and this time it's the Lenovo Ideapad 3. This is the 2021 model. It's got a 10th generation i5 processor in it. It's got 12 gigs of RAM. It's got a 300 nits brightness touchscreen IPS panel, and it's got a 256 gigabyte SSD drive in it, HDMI out. It's got a lot of stuff going for it, and it's got a 15.6 inch full HD screen. And it's even got the number keypad on the keyboard. I was very interested in this computer because whenever I saw it on the internet, it was normally like $649, $699. I got it on sale a couple of weeks ago for $449. And this is the one I was wanting to tell you guys about because as soon as I saw the specs and I got it for under $500, I was like, man, this right here, even at $600, is a fantastic laptop. But if you can get it for under $500, if you get it 400 something, it is the bee's knees because it has all the power you need to get through the day. It has excellent battery life, it has low heat, it has low power consumption, and it has all the stuff you need, including a media card slot so you can put your SD card, whatever, on the side. There's a lot here to unpack, and I want to talk about it in this video because I've been very impressed with it, and I thought this would be a great idea for you guys if you're looking to get a cheap laptop that isn't cheap, that really has a lot of horsepower. So we're going to dive in and take a look at this, but before we get there, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Let's take a look at this Lenovo Ideapad 3. So first and foremost, if you're here for B-roll, I'm sorry, it's not really going to be here today. This is going to be my very in-depth, down and dirty talk about this Lenovo Ideapad 3. Bought this with my own money, again. It's kind of a resounding theme on my channel. But the laptop itself, I've been really impressed with. Now, the body is mostly plastic, and I think it's pretty premium plastic, though. It works out all right. You've got the ventilation area down here on the bottom. It's got the stereo speakers, which are on the bottom. That's one thing I don't really care for. You've got one right here, and you've got one right here. But the sound is actually pretty decent. Really good for just watching YouTube videos, some light video watching. As long as you don't have a lot of noise in the background, you should be fine. But you can plug in your headphones or your earbuds if you've got a headphone jack on them, because this has a headphone jack. So you're covered there. One of the things that really impressed me as soon as I saw it, i5, quad-core CPU, it's clocked at about 2.4 gigahertz. It doesn't have Wi-Fi 6, so don't get too excited about that. But it has Wi-Fi 5, 802.11 AC. You're covered there. 2.4 gigahertz i5, 12 gigs of RAM. Normally when you see these things, if you see laptops for under $500, they've got that stupid like 1368 by 7 something resolution, which is just terrible. This one, full 1080p, 1920 by 1080 resolution on a 15.6 inch IPS LCD. It's got 300 nits of brightness, which is actually pretty good, by the way. It's a touchscreen, and I'm an idiot. I bought this not knowing it was a touchscreen laptop, and then whenever it showed up, like 6 hours into using it, I touched the screen and realized it was a touchscreen. One thing that I really like here is it's got a fingerprint sensor, so it makes you feel cool like you've got a MacBook or something. It's 2021. I'm really tired of typing in passwords all the time. I really like that. When you look at the keyboard, it's got the regular Lenovo keys. It's got like that kind of a shield look to it where it's rounded down on the bottom, but it's flat up top. It's actually pretty nice to type on. It has kind of a soft touch key press, not a real long key press either. So it makes for a nice typing experience. If you're used to Lenovo, you'll like it a lot. I've enjoyed typing on it. What I really like is it has the 9 key over on the side. So you've got the number pad, which is really nice because if you do work, if you do business stuff, if you do Excel spreadsheets, if you just type in a numeric password or PIN, it's great because I've always liked using the number pad. That's built in. It's still got the directional pad. You've got your touchpad down here, which is nice and sensitive. It is a little audible on the clicky side. You don't have to push it too hard. It doesn't feel as nice and premium as like a MacBook or like a Surface laptop, but for the price, I think it's very good. And that's like the resounding theme here. Most of the stuff, the nuts and the bolts are really good, but the horsepower is what's impressive to me. So you've got the i5, 2.4 gigahertz, 12 gigs of RAM, And then you've got the Iris Xe graphics, or Z, or whatever they want to call it. I actually played Diablo 2 on here, and I was able to play Valorant. So if you like to play either of those games, you can play that on here. I would caution you, you're going to have to turn the graphics down, especially on Diablo 2 Resurrected. But it's kind of capable. It can do a couple of different things. It's not really for gaming. These don't have a dedicated GPU. If you're looking for something for gaming, don't buy this. But if you want something that you can do word processing, internet browsing, nice typing experience, great. This is a really, really good work laptop. Like, I've got a Dell that my office provided me that I've had for a couple of years now. It's got an i5, like 8 gigs of RAM. It's utterly pants. It's completely terrible. This right here, I've been working on it. I've been doing a lot of stuff, and Microsoft Office works great. It's got Windows 11 pre-installed. This is my first experience with Windows 11. I gotta say, I kind of like it. It's a nice, fluid experience. Of course, I downloaded Chrome because I'm still not an Edge fan. Maybe one day they'll win me over, but yes, it's going to show up. It's going to be in Windows 11 S mode, which is kind of like their secure mode. It's very limited. You can only get stuff out of the Microsoft Store. You can take it out of that. It's no big deal. And then you have full Windows 11 straight on the laptop. The only thing that I'm not crazy about spec-wise is it only has 256 gigabytes of storage. I have not been able to confirm whether it has expandable storage. So I don't know if you can get another SSD. I don't know if you can get an NVMe card and put it in there. But what you can do is you can use the USB-C connector on here and plug in an external hard drive, which will work out really well for most people. So put your apps and programs on the hard drive, and then if you have storage stuff, put it on an SD card even. Over here on the right side, you've got a media card port, so you can use your media card storage. You've got a USB Type A, which is nice. And then over here on the other side, you have an HDMI out, which is cool. If you need to do work, business presentation stuff, do that. Put the video out to the TV or a computer monitor. You can do that. That's one nice thing. If you want to use a computer monitor with it and then just plug in a keyboard and a mouse and use this like a workstation, you can do that too. It has a USB-C. USB-C is data only. You can't use it for a USB-C monitor. Sorry, guys. So you have a proprietary power plug here. I don't like that. That's one of the things I really don't like. I really feel like they could have just used a multi-port that would allow you to plug it into the USB-C, maybe throw an extra one on there and not put that. I don't know why they didn't, but you're stuck with that. So you got to keep up with that power adapter. You've got a headphone jack. There's your USB-C right there. And overall, I think it's good for ports and connectivity. And you can always plug in an adapter. You can plug in a hub to it if you want to use it that way. If you need extra ports, extra slots, you can go that route. But you can plug it, like I said, plug it into an HDMI, do all that business. Again, it's made out of plastic, but it has a really nice feel to it. Like the bottom is definitely plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like one of those cheap, hollow, plasticky $200-300 laptops or a Chromebook. This right here, you can get some Chromebooks around $200 or $300 that work well. If you want something with full PC functionality, if you want something with a little bit more horsepower, an i5 is substantial. You can do a lot with an i5. Like my kids are playing on i5s and Ryzen 5s from like second, third generation with a GPU, and they're playing games at 100 frames per second. That's not what this is for. But the underlying power you get here, quad-core processor, 2.4 gigahertz, i5. If you can get this for $400 or $500, it is a steal of a deal. It's even got a webcam built into the top, so you've got a HD 720p camera up here. It's not 1080p. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, but it looks and it works perfectly fine. So if you want to do your Zoom stuff, if you want to do your Microsoft Teams, this is perfect for students, for teenagers, for a business laptop. Like if you don't want to have to use your MacBook or your gaming laptop or your gaming computer to do your work from, this right here is great. You can go to the coffee shop. It's got a 3-cell lithium-ion battery, and that's perfectly fine. Like you're going to get 4, 5, 6 hours out of this, no big deal. I don't think you're going to get more than 8 or 10. The thing is it's all going to depend on what you're doing. If it's unplugged, if you're doing stuff, yeah, you can turn the brightness down. You can do a lot of other stuff that you can try and mitigate that and make your battery last longer, battery saving mode, low power mode. But when it's plugged in and you've got all the power at your disposal, it's very, very good. Even on battery, it's very good. So I don't want to make it seem like it slows down, it throttles, it turns into garbage when you unplug it. I'm just saying, I think you can get 6 hours out of it, no problem. I hesitate to say longer. I haven't really tested it longer than that. It's just one of those things where it works well. The battery life is fine. It's going to be good for a project, good for going to Starbucks for a couple hours, good for a plane flight across country. It's a nice versatile option. You got your good storage options. And the reason why I like this, when I went to law school several years ago, and when I was doing all that, when I used to do a lot of laptop-based PC work, there were always compromises. If you used to get a computer, a laptop under like $700, you got the crappy resolution, you got a terrible laptop, it was cheap, the keyboard was not good, and it ran slow. And you don't have any of those compromises here. You get great performance, you get great data transfer speeds with this SSD drive inside of here. You get nice stereo speakers, you get a nice IPS panel, and I love the fingerprint sensor also. And then whenever it comes to the touchscreen actually works really well. Like, I've not had any problems with it whatsoever. Very responsive, nice and bright. You could probably even use it outside during the shade. I mean, I haven't really done that. I don't go outside much. I work from home. But this one is one of those laptops. I was really excited about it, so much so that I spent my own money on it to confirm that, yes, it's very good. Windows 11, i5 processor, 12 gigs of RAM. A lot of times you get like 4, you get 8. It's really kind of weird how they did it. Apparently it's got a 4 gigabyte stick that's soldered to the board, and then there's an 8 gig chip inside of a slot. So I don't think you're ever going to upgrade it. I would recommend that you never try to upgrade it. One, because you just don't need it. You're not going to be doing any high powered intensive stuff. You're not doing CAD work on here, not playing 3D video games. You don't have a GPU in here. So I would say that probably 12 gigs is overkill. I think it may be a little bit of a selling point, but it's a good selling point because it sold me. The 256 storage, I wish it were more. If it were 512, this thing right here would be an absolute beast. But for what it's designed for, you have to think about it. You're not doing video editing. You're not playing a bunch of high-intensity games. You're not downloading a lot of movies. Do that on an external hard drive, please. For work, for just casual usage and just day-to-day performance, 256 is a lot if all you're doing is like doing Word documents and browsing the internet and watching YouTube and maybe doing some Excel spreadsheet work and stuff like that. For normal day-to-day tasks, for school, for work, it's not going to really slow down on you. It's going to feel nice and smooth. It's very responsive, and it's just an overall enjoyable experience. I've been impressed with it, so much so that when I saw the specs, I said, I got to go get this so I can test this out, so I can come back and tell the guys and gals, if they're looking for something, this is a good option. You don't need to go buy a $1,000 laptop. You don't need to go out and buy a MacBook Pro. You don't need to go even buy a MacBook Air. There are really good specials and deals you can find out there. I like Lenovo. I use my Lenovo X1 Carbon all the time. Sorry, Lenovo X1 Nano. I use that all the time. That's like my go-to. But this one right here, I tried this out for a couple of days and tried to do my work on here, and I didn't have any problems. You got Wi-Fi connectivity. You got Bluetooth, so you can connect your earbuds. You've got the headphone jack. You've got HDMI. You've got plenty of ports. It doesn't get hot. It doesn't make a bunch of noise. It doesn't feel like it's burning up your legs while you're trying to use it without the power plug and you're using the battery life. And the screen's really nice. And those are things, like I said, typically you would have to compromise. It was always, well, it's got power but no RAM. Well, it's got a bunch of RAM but it's got no power. Or it's got a Celeron processor. It's got a cheap screen. It's got a low resolution. You get 1080p, webcam, i5, 12 gigs of RAM, SSD, and a media card slot. It's got everything that you need to do basically whatever you want outside of high intensity, like stuff that would require a dedicated GPU, which you're going to be spending a lot more money for one of those computers. And one thing about this laptop, it says it has a backlit keyboard. It even has the button icon down on the spacebar, which is weird because Lenovo, my other one, does this too. It's got the icon like it will turn on the backlight, but I've tried everything. I've tried to activate it. I've read some other comments from other people. They said that it wouldn't work for them either. So I don't know if it actually is backlit or not. I don't know how to activate it if it is. So if you find out how, then please come back and tell me and tell everyone else. I think what it is it might just be that they put the spacebar logo there and it doesn't actually turn on. But I could be wrong. But in my testing, I haven't found out how to do that. So yeah, that's all I got there. I wanted to mention that real quick. So that's all I got. Hopefully you can find it on sale still. I think I saw it for about $519 on Best Buy. They dropped the price. It was, again, like I said, it was like in the $600 category. If I see any good deals on it, I'll share them. There's the link down in the description. You can check that out to go to Best Buy. I'll have another one for Amazon as well. Keep an eye on those, especially for Black Friday. If this dropped down to $450 a month before Black Friday, I can only imagine that as we get into the holidays, there's probably going to be some more specials. This one right here, total winner in my opinion. I like it a lot. Is it the most amazing in the world if you're looking for a high-performance laptop? No. This is for somebody who's wanting a good deal in the budget category, but gives you really good power. I mean, this is not an i3. We're not using a M3 processor. We're not using any Celeron stuff. This is not a low-end PC. It's not something that's going to be slow or laggy. It's going to work good for you for years. 12 gigs of RAM is perfect for a lot of multitasking, really. You can do quite a bit of stuff on here. Again, I don't know what you're going to load up to 12 gigs because that would be more like, playing games and loading a bunch of really, really big program files. You're not really going to do that on this, but everything in here I'm pretty happy about. Again, I don't like that you don't have a USB-C that can go to a monitor. I don't like it only has 256 gigs of storage, and I don't like that you have the proprietary cable. Those are the only real three things that I don't like, and those are very acceptable compromises if you can get this for $400, $500, $600. So even if you have to buy it at full price, I still give it a thumbs up. I mean, it's a good deal at $600, but it's an amazing deal at $400 or $500. So, sorry there's not a lot of fancy B-roll here. This is one I've had so many phones and so many other things that I've had to cover here recently. I wanted to sit down. I wanted to tell you about this, go through my experience, tell you about what it's able to do, because I think it's a great performing computer and a great value if you're looking for something in like the $400, $500, $600 ballpark, especially if you can get it on sale. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.